Hi, I'm John Maxwell. When the top companies in the world are looking for trainers, speakers, and coaches, there's one name that stands above the rest, and that's Maxwell Leadership. Our certified team members have gotten proven results for companies all over the globe, and our reputation, I'm proud to say, is second to none. Some of our members have risen to the top of their profession, including the one you're going to meet today. I proudly introduce you to my friend Bob Fabian Zinka.
Welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ, where we help you lead with purpose and succeed with impact. If you're ready to grow into the kind of leader others want to follow, this podcast is for you. If you're determined to elevate your success and leave a lasting legacy, this podcast is for you. As my mentor, Dr. John C. Maxwell reminds us, everything rises and falls on leadership. Our goal is simple: to inspire you, challenge you, and equip you with insights that can transform the trajectory of your leadership journey. Welcome aboard to another episode of the Leadership and Success Podcast with Coach BZ.
Wow, that is quite powerful and comprehensive. Now, you've advised companies with a combined market cap of over $3 trillion. What separates high-performing boards from those merely checking boxes?
The key separation I see is a collaboration between the board and the CEO. The board needs to have the independent capability to accompany the CEO to identify opportunities with generative AI, for example, and other technologies, and also to look around corners and help the CEO see where there might be blind spots. What does that require of the board? Well, it requires what I just read, BlackRock and proxy advisors, investors like BlackRock and proxy advisors like ISS and Glass Lewis have changed their investment stewardship guidelines. And they're calling for the same thing. They're calling for disclosures about how the board stays fluent in generative AI, how the board demonstrates digital literacy, what training the board gets on a regular basis to oversee and exercise oversight over generative AI. Those are the types of things. And the other thing our investor community is going to be asking come proxy season, which is going to be the first quarter for most public companies in 2026. They want to know what frameworks the board is using to be able to exercise oversight. They don't want the boards to just be dependent on what the management reports, because unfortunately, we've seen some of the statistics from August where MIT reported that 95% of generative AI deployments by companies these days are failing. So with that, it's not sufficient for board members to just rely on reports from management in light of these MIT reports that spooked our markets and tanked our stock market in August. We already do them at our Digital Trust Summit, and we do them for boards live, but we're launching an LMS version that board members can take remotely, and groups of 20 senior leadership and boards can get trained at the same time and be able to say something in their proxies about what they're doing.
Wow, that is really powerful. And by the way, I have your LinkedIn URL below for people to follow you and reach out to you. You also co-found a network to diversify the C-suite and boardroom. Why is representation at this top still so critical in 2025?
Well, representation is part of excellent business. So let me just give you an example in the context of AI. So the growth markets for most companies are not the US or Europe, where there are aging populations. The growth markets where products are going to be consumed at scale are where there's a population growth happening. That is in the global south, that is in the African continent, Latin America. Those are the growth areas. Now, think about this for a second. If there is, say, generative AI that we are producing that does not recognize, say, different skin tones and things like that, right? And you look at generative AI in other jurisdictions like China, that's been over in Africa and in other jurisdictions in global south, etc., for decades. Okay, and their AI recognizes different skin. Guess what? The Middle East, uh, um, Africa, LATAM, Asia. Guess what product is more likely to uh, garner adoption,
Yeah.
sell in a jurisdiction? So that's just common sense, a lot of it, but it's the importance of having excellence in a boardroom at the C-suite level as a CEO. That's important, and it involves.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for being with us today. We are trying on a new technology. Sorry for the short delay, but I have a very important guest with me today. That's really going to be a treat to the audience. Before we get started, I'm reminded, let's do our quick moment of gratitude. It's going to take less than a minute. And basically, this is where we just want to make sure we are grateful for at least one thing every single day, every time we meet. So if you would, as is our custom, if you are able, you may be able to close your eyes, maybe take a deep breath, put yourself in your happy place, and think about one thing you are grateful for today. I think today I am really grateful for my family, my wife, and my two kids. And I really don't know what my life would be without them. So let us know what you are grateful for and type it in the comment. And if you have a question for my guys, please type it in the comment as well. So I have someone that everybody already knows in the audience, doesn't need to be reintroduced. So let me bring to you the one and only Dominique Shelton Leipzig.
Hi, Coach
Hey,
Bob.
Dominique, how are you?
Great. It's wonderful to be here.
Fantastic. I'm really glad to have you back. So we already had the 1 hour interview. This is only the recap, which is mostly done by artificial intelligence. But before I play the AI recap clip, is there something you wanted to tell the audience?
Yes, there were two things for audience members that are aspiring to build up your practice or your career in the new technologies like generative AI. This is such an opportunity. Though I understand, and I've been reading the papers as everyone else has, and I know that there are a number of layoffs and other things that have occurred. I just want everyone to know that we are just at the ground floor of where this technology can take us. And so I encourage everybody to understand how this relates to your business and become conversant in it so that you can have the jobs of tomorrow and the future of tomorrow and the ones that you'll be most satisfied by. So I'm excited for all that we will build together in this space.
Yes. So let's show the people how they can get in touch with you. So yeah, I think I need to share my screen again. The only thing will take a second. So I have you here, so they can reach out to you on LinkedIn, which should show up in just a second.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. So very easy for them to find you on LinkedIn, and also your website, right? globaldatainnovation.com.
Yes.
Very,
Yes.
very good. And so if they have any question for you, that's definitely where they need to reach you. Is there some other place you wanted them to be able to get in touch with you?
This is perfect. LinkedIn, just feel free to DM me, direct message me, or on my website, sign up for our newsletter. You can get our regular, we send out a newsletter every week, twice a week, on developments in this space.
Fantastic. Okay, now I am going to play a this is brand new, a 5 minute recap of the interviews. It's kind of going to introduce the subject and you. Let's see what your thoughts are about this one.
All right, let's talk about what it really means to be a leader in the age of AI, because it's not just about the coolest new tech, right? It's about responsibility, it's about strategy, and honestly, it's about having the wisdom to not repeat the mistakes of the past. To help us navigate all this, we're diving into the brilliant insights of Dominique Shelton Leipzig, and she has a pretty serious warning for all of us. And there it is. This is the quote that really kicks things off. According to Leipzig, we are standing at a crossroads that should feel very, very familiar. Her point is, this isn't some wild guess. It's a stark reminder of recent history, a history we really can't afford to get wrong a second time. The choices leaders are making right now, they're going to echo for decades. So, to really get a handle on where we're going, Leipzig says we've got to look back first. She argues that this whole AI boom has this kind of eerie resemblance to the early days of the internet, a time of incredible innovation that also came with a huge and mostly unforeseen price tag. Okay, so here's the parallel that Leipzig draws, and it is a powerful one. Think back to the early 2000s. Companies had the tools, they had the knowledge to lock down their data. But let's be honest, very few executives really made it a priority. And the result? A massive wave of data breaches and a crisis of trust that, she says, ended up costing industries trillions. We're talking regulatory fines, lost customers, shattered reputations. This wasn't a technology failure. Nope, it was a leadership failure, plain and simple. And this is really the question that sets up everything we're talking about today. Leipzig asks this to make us all stop and think. Could that whole mess have been avoided? She believes the answer is a huge, resounding yes. And that, right there, is the massive opportunity we have with generative AI. We have the benefit of hindsight. We've seen this movie before, and we have the chance to write a much, much better ending. Okay, so if we don't want to repeat history, what's the solution? Is it a fancier algorithm? A bigger computer? Well, according to Leipzig, the answer is something way more fundamental. It all comes down to building an unbreakable foundation of trust. And this is really the heart of her argument. Leipzig says that trust is the real currency in today's economy. In a world being totally reshaped by AI, your ability to build and hold on to that trust with your customers, with your employees, with regulators, that is your number one competitive advantage. Without it, you could have the most advanced AI on the planet, and it's basically worthless. I love how Leipzig puts this. Good governance can keep an organization battle-ready. It's such a brilliant way to make the point. You see, you can't possibly predict every single problem AI is going to throw at you. It's impossible. But what you can do is build a resilient organization. And you do that through good governance. A system that's built on trust is what prepares you for whatever's coming next. It's about being proactive, not just constantly putting out fires. All right, so this is where things get really practical. Leipzig didn't just write a book about why trust is important. She actually engineered a framework to help leaders build it right into their AI strategy from day one. You can think of the trust framework as a playbook for leadership. It's designed specifically for the C-suite and the boardroom to help them cut through all the complexity of AI and to make sure that all this cool innovation doesn't happen at the expense of being responsible. It's a clear, actionable guide. So let's break this acronym down. First up, T is for triage. The idea here is simple. Don't just sprinkle AI everywhere. Be strategic. Line it up with your core business goals where it can actually add real value. Next, R is for right data. This one is so critical. Your AI is only as good and as ethical as the data you feed it. Then we have U for uninterrupted testing. AI isn't a set it and forget it kind of thing. You have to be constantly testing, monitoring for bias, for errors, for drift. S is for supervision. This is a big one. Always, always keep a human in the loop. You need a person who can step in, fix problems, and be accountable. And finally, the second T is for technical documentation. You've got to know how your system actually works so you can spot issues and solve them before they blow up into a full-blown crisis. And look, Leipzig makes this crystal clear. This whole framework, it's not about creating a bunch of red tape that slows everyone down. Not at all. It's about creating a disciplined process so you can execute in a trustworthy way. It's about moving fast, sure, but doing it safely and responsibly. Okay, so having a framework is absolutely crucial. But, and this is a big but, Leipzig says it means nothing without the right kind of leadership to actually implement it. So let's pivot a little from the technical stuff to the deeply human qualities that are required to lead in this new era. It all starts with a huge shift in mindset. It's really easy to get caught up in the hype and fear that AI is some unstoppable force that's just happening to us. But Leipzig reminds us of a simple, powerful truth. Humans build AI, humans deploy AI. We are in the driver's seat. And adapting that mindset, that sense of control and responsibility, is step one to leading well. So, what does that kind of leadership actually look like? Well, Leipzig points to two core principles, and they might not be what you'd expect, because neither one is about being a tech genius. The first one is about leading with our shared humanity, and it all boils down to one simple, powerful word: compassion. In a world that's getting more and more obsessed with data, algorithms, and efficiency, Leipzig argues that this is the most important leadership quality of all. It's about taking a second to remember and understand the real people who are affected by the technology you're building, your team, your customers, and the wider community. All right, so you've got compassion. What's next? The second core principle is just as important, and it's all about authenticity. To lead in a way that builds trust, you as a leader have to be trustworthy. And that starts with just being you. She puts it perfectly when she says, don't force yourself into a leadership persona that doesn't reflect you. The point here is simple but so profound. There is no single cookie-cutter mold for a great leader. Leading well in the age of AI isn't about trying to be Steve Jobs or anyone else. It's about finding your own authentic style and leading from a place of real integrity. Okay, we've talked about the past, we've got the framework, and we've got the mindset. So what now? Now, we pull it all together into a call to action. Because according to Leipzig, this isn't just some interesting academic discussion. This is a defining moment for every single person in a position of leadership. And this is Leipzig's final, urgent message to all of us. The decisions happening right now, in boardrooms, in engineering scrums, they are setting the course for the next half century. Silence is just not an option anymore. The see something, say something moment, it's right now. So as we start to wrap this up, what's the big takeaway from all of Leipzig's work? You know, as you can see from a little peek into the source material here, it really all boils down to one central idea. Whether you're talking about leading with trust, governing with courage, or learning from failure, the message is clear. This is about mastering ourselves, not the algorithms. So we'll leave you with the powerful question that Dominique Shelton Leipzig poses throughout all of her work. Are you leading technology, or is technology leading you? It's a question every leader, every aspiring leader, really every citizen needs to be asking themselves right now. Your team, your mission, and your legacy all depend on the answer. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.
All right.
I
What do
love
you
it.
think? Okay, fantastic. All right. This is something I just started like last week. You are the first guinea pig, so thank you so much for allowing me to do this. Is there anything else you would add to the summary?
You know, I've got to say, AI summed it up very well. That is exactly, but really exactly what I've been saying. So I'm thrilled to
Awesome.
see that AI
Awesome.
caught it. So now we just need to have our humans, our CEO and board community, and our day-to-day employees that report up. If we can all start embracing this just as well as that primer you gave us,
Yes.
that would be great.
All right. So now, let me show you. This is going to be about 8 minutes. This is the way I used to do it. I'd like to get your feedback on that too. So 8 more minutes. Let's go.
Welcome, everyone, to a deep dive into leadership, trust, and responsible AI. Today, we're exploring a compelling conversation that centers on how leaders, like Dominique Shelton Leipzig, cultivate trust in a data-driven world.
This is so interesting. Combining leadership with technology, right?
Absolutely. We go through a journey that starts with gratitude and connection, which sets the tone for authentic
Yeah,
leadership. It's about being genuinely grateful. A reminder that leadership isn't just about titles, but about service.
It's almost like a recipe where gratitude acts as the secret ingredient, isn't it?
Exactly. And Dominique's approach truly reflects that. She shares that morning mantra: it's impossible to be grateful and anxious at the same time, which is a powerful way to frame leadership from the get-go.
I love that. It makes you realize leadership is more than strategy. It's personal and human.
Right. And then, when you dive into her origins, it all began with curiosity and a calling, a blend of family values and an innate desire to connect people and technology.
Yep, very inspiring. That origin story really elevates the narrative, don't you think? It transforms accolades into a deeper purpose.
Precisely. It's like all those strands, law, technology, global service, we're always converging
Yeah.
into our mission.
And I'm particularly struck by how she turns risk into leadership capital. How did she really articulate that?
She recognized that with AI, we could repeat the mistakes of the past made with privacy and data security. She emphasized that if crucial information reached CEOs earlier, monumental losses could have been avoided, like saving $60 trillion.
Whoa, that's huge. That's a staggering number. Really puts the need for responsible AI into perspective.
Indeed, and this is where her trust framework comes into play. It's an actionable model that stands for triage, right data, uninterrupted testing, supervision, and technical documentation. Each component aligns with continuous oversight and risk management.
That framework sounds really practical, especially for leaders managing complex technology environments.
Exactly. It's designed to ensure that strategic decisions are made with rigor and clarity. Think of it as a compass for responsible innovation, directing leaders through turbulent tech landscapes, like guiding a ship through stormy seas.
Right. I appreciate how she bridges the gap between military discipline and modern tech governance. It's like she's taken the best from both worlds.
Yep, especially when she draws parallels to the battle rhythm in military leadership. Continuous assessment, human oversight, and disciplined documentation become universal tools in leadership.
I do wonder, though, do you think that explicit, structured framework might sometimes limit creative risk-taking in leadership?
That's a fair point, but I think Dominique would respectfully argue that the framework isn't meant to stifle creativity. It's more a safety net, a way to operate confidently, knowing that you can prevent past mistakes while innovating.
I see that. True, it's about balancing innovation with accountability.
Precisely. And speaking of balance, she places a strong focus on representation and inclusion. She pointed out that diverse leadership teams are not just a fairness issue, but a business imperative, especially as growth markets expand across Africa, Latin America, and Asia.
Yeah, absolutely. That really makes you think about leadership on a global scale. If you're not inclusive, you're not truly prepared for the future.
Exactly. And then there's the topic of mentorship. Dominique emphasizes paying it forward, mentoring emerging leaders, and building a legacy where success multiplies
that part
itself.
resonated a lot with me. It seems her philosophy is as much about lifting others as it is about personal achievement.
For sure. And she connects that back to her own mentors. Her parents played a huge role in shaping her outlook. It's like every piece of her journey, from Brown University to leading global boards, comes full circle.
It's a real holistic view of success.
Absolutely. Now, her book, Trust Responsible AI, Innovation, Privacy, and Data Leadership, is a captivating read. It challenges leaders to not only manage technology, but to also
it's like
master
advice
themselves.
that cuts across industries. And I love the analogy of controlling AI rather than letting it control you. It instills a sense of empowerment.
Exactly, in her succinct words, humans control AI, not the other way around. It reiterates that leadership is always at its finest when it's grounded in clarity and human judgment.
That's such a reassuring message, especially in our fast-evolving tech context.
Definitely. And then she brings in the idea of failure, not as defeat, but as data. Every failure is a chance to learn and improve.
Yeah, that reminds me of after-action reports in the military, learning from every setback.
Exactly. It's a mindset that turns setbacks into stepping stones. You reflect on what went wrong and strengthen your approach for the future.
And that's something every leader, regardless of their field, can really take to heart.
For sure. Another interesting point she makes is about being authentic. Her advice to her 17-year-old self was to be yourself, to not force a persona. It underscores that genuine leadership is built on empathy and authenticity.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate that a lot. In many industries, there's pressure to conform to a certain style, but here it's all about leading with compassion.
Absolutely. And that ties back to her experiences in diverse sectors from corporate boards to military leadership. The common thread is integrity, service, and humility.
It's powerful to see how these principles can drive success in both cybersecurity and global governance.
Exactly. And she leaves us with that final, enduring message. Leadership is forward looking. It's a call to action to lead with trust, compassion, and courage.
Right? That's a message that really sticks. I think it's a reminder for every leader, whether in tech, business, or the military, trust is the true currency.
Precisely. And as we wrap up, it's clear that while technology and data evolve, the timeless principles of integrity, inclusion, and responsibility remain at the heart of effective leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's to leaders who embrace these values and inspire those around them every day.
Here's to that. And thanks for joining this engaging exploration into trust and leadership in a data driven world. Until next time, keep leading with purpose.
All right, Dominic, that was Joe and Liz AI, my agent. What did you think of that?
They're great. I love the discussion, and I like the relationship between the rigor and discipline around governance and the military analogy. It's sort of keeping that creativity, but keeping that high standard as well.
Awesome. Would you add anything to the summary, something we talked about in our interviews that you want people to pay attention to?
Well, I guess I wanted to just, emphasize that we are so much at the nascence of where Gen AI is going with agentic, robotics, humanoid, uh, brain cancer, etc. We're just really at the ground level, just at the beginning. So for those of you who might be experiencing changes in jobs or experiencing layoffs, I know there's close to 50,000 people that are seeing changes in their job status just this week, just today. I want everyone to be very hopeful about their role in the future, because the jobs of tomorrow are here, and there will be more of a need for them. Just in the area of responsible AI alone and trustworthy AI alone, I see tremendous growth that on the horizon. So I hope everyone will embrace these values, not just as good things academically to think about, but actually live them. And if you're curious, actually include them into your career trajectory.
Well, that is so powerful. I forgot to ask you earlier. What are you grateful for today, Dominic?
Gosh, I'm grateful to be here right now at this moment and being able to share this conversation with you, Bob, and to be able to inspire others to jump into the discussion, jump into the shaping of our future by taking your hand and your hand at molding the future with trustworthy AI. So I'm really grateful to have that as my purpose and what I'm working on.
Thanks so much. And of course, this is for everyone, but one of my burden is to really see more underrepresented minorities and women into this field. It's the field of the future, and that's absolutely where we need to be. Just like you said, we don't have to be afraid, and this might be one of the greatest opportunity we have to really pivot and charge and move forward. Okay. Anything else you would like to let the audience know before we go?
No, you've said it very well, Bob. Follow me on LinkedIn, visit our website, and Global Data Innovation. And really, thank you for listening to and learning about trust. And thank you for having me, Bob.
Absolutely. And again, that's on globaldatainnovation.com. And you also have a conference coming up for the C-level suite, and they can go to your website and ask to be invited, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And we've already shown your LinkedIn, which is on the screen, Dominique SL, which is for Shelton Leipzig. And wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. It's always fun when I am with someone sort of doing all of this by myself. So I'm really, really glad that you were able to make it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to play one more highlight from the video. But again, the idea is for people to go back and watch the full hour interview, season 4, episode 89. Available everywhere. Podcasts are available, including YouTube. And I believe the YouTube video we did, people can also listen to it in their own language, up to 24 languages. French, which is my native language, Spanish, Portuguese, even Korean. And believe it or not, my Black African-American daughter speaks Korean because she follows K-pop music. And all of that. So I am pretty impressed with the skills of the Gen Z generation. But anyway, so this is it for now. And thanks again, Dominique, for being with us today. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. But it wasn't until 1998 when I was working as outside counsel in a boutique law firm that doesn't exist anymore, a little firm called Folger, Levin, and Kahn. And we worked as outside counsel to Yahoo.
Wow.
One of the former associates at the firm had gone over to Yahoo. And that firm, which had just 70 attorneys, including partners and associates, so we were tiny, but our outsized role in terms of helping the company navigate what was then a new strain of litigation and investigations that centered around privacy after the acquisition of GeoCities. So by Yahoo. So that whole trajectory, and I stayed at that firm for 10 years until almost 10 years until 2007. But the introduction to privacy in the late 90s, early 2000s, as working as outside counsel for this tech company, that was my first introduction through the litigation lens, primarily of representing clients in this. And then I spent 22 years litigating these types of cases, privacy, cyber. And then towards the end of my time in big law, I spent 12 years after that, right around 2014, mostly advising companies on how to avoid these issues. And then in 2019, I represented the CEO of the California Chamber of Commerce in the negotiations around the business-friendly terms in the California Consumer Privacy Act. So really that's where I realized our CEO and board community need our support. They need our help. Those of us, such as yourself, Bob, who spent careers in cyber.
Thank you for tuning in to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ. If today's episode added value to your leadership journey, be sure to subscribe, share, and join us again for more wisdom nuggets on how to lead better and achieve greater success. Remember, leadership is the most critical skill of our time. The world will always need leaders to inspire others, drive innovation, and execute meaningful strategy. So why not count yourself among the bold leaders shaping the 21st century? Until next time, stay inspired, stay committed, and keep leading with excellence.